86. Heebie-jeebies. Jackie's POV. I kept glancing at Lavanya, searching for a little peace, but all I found was the same nervousness and worry mirrored on her face. Well, everyone looks scared as hell. Please, come in, Mr. and Mrs. Jones. Someone finally managed to say it was Lavanya's father. We stepped inside and settled on the couch opposite the Verma couple. Lavanya came forward and respectfully touched Mom's and Matt's feet. "God bless you," Matt blurted out awkwardly. Another wave of awkwardness swept through the room, but by now we were almost getting used to it. "It's lovely to see you again, Lavanya," Mom said warmly. Lavanya returned the smile. "This is Lavanya's mother, Sudha," Mr. Verma introduced, and Mom nodded politely. Then, as if realizing he hadn't said enough, he added, "And my wife, too." Mrs. Verma's smile faded ever so slightly as she glared at her husband, before chuckling lightly. "Obviously," she said with a shake of her head. "Not necessarily," he replied seriously, shrugging. Mrs. Verma shot us an apologetic smile before turning a sharp look back at him. "I'll just get you some water," she said, disappearing into the kitchen with the grace of someone used to handling such moments. "Lavanya, come here. Sit." Mr. Verma gestured to the seat beside him, and she obediently sat down. "Mrs. Jones, you've already met my daughter, and I'm sure you loved her. She is my heart, very dear to me. Honestly, when your son Jackie showed interest in marrying my daughter, I freaked out," he admitted, chuckling nervously. "I never showed it to anyone, but after getting to know Jackie and realizing that Lavanya truly wants to marry him, I felt a little more at ease. My wife, though," he glanced sideways, "is still freaked out." At that moment, we all turned to see Mrs. Verma standing there with a tray of water and cold drinks, looking unimpressed. "What?" she asked sharply. No, nothing," Mr. Verma stammered, looking guilty. She narrowed her eyes at him, but silently began serving drinks. An awkward silence descended. Then, thankfully, Mom broke it. "Mrs. Verma, your house is beautiful," she said warmly. "Thank you," Lavanya's mother replied with a formal smile.
Author's POV. They sat in silence for a few seconds, each taking careful sips of their drinks. Then Jacqueline, remembering what Lalit had said about Sudha's fears, spoke up. "Mrs. Verma," she began gently, "I can understand exactly how you must be feeling right now. You must be nervous, worried about your daughter's future with my son." Everyone blinked, glancing uneasily at each other. "Though my son had a very disturbing childhood." "Mom?" Jackie tried to interrupt, but she simply smiled at him and continued. "He is a self-made gentleman. He has a good heart, and he holds deep respect and love for your family, especially for Lavanya." She turned to Lavanya with a soft, reassuring smile. "I was never there for him when he needed me the most, and his father, unfortunately, passed away when Jackie was still very young. Yet despite everything, he managed his life so well. Still, he has always seemed lonely. He needs a partner, someone he can share his dreams, his sorrows, his happiness, his regrets, his failures, his successes. Someone who becomes a part of his everything. And in this vast world, the only person he found that bond with is your daughter." Jacqueline's voice grew a little thick with emotion, but she smiled proudly through it. "He just can't afford to lose her. He knows better than anyone the true value of love, family, and relationships. Not even I know it as deeply as he does." She turned to Mr. and Mrs. Verma with sincerity burning in her eyes. "So, please, you need not worry about your daughter's happiness. I can guarantee you, no one can keep her happier than Jackie Dawson." There was a heavy silence in the room. Every single pair of eyes glistened with unshed tears, touched deeply by Jacqueline's heartfelt words. Jackie was blinking rapidly, trying hard to hide his emotions. It was a deeply touching moment for him too. For the first time in his life, someone was speaking for him, someone who knew him, who understood his past, and was proud of him. "Absolutely, Mrs. Jones," Lalit said warmly. "We have no doubts about Jackie either. We're just being typical Indian parents, overprotective of our only daughter, even though we know she's going into the right hands." He smiled lovingly at Lavanya, then at his wife. Sudha chuckled, masking her emotions behind a small laugh, but Lavanya and her parents' teary eyes said it all. They were already feeling the bittersweet sting of parting. "Your lovely daughter is precious to us too," Matt spoke up unexpectedly, turning towards Lalit and Sudha. "We are proud, glad, and very lucky that our son chose her as his life partner." Jackie's head snapped up at the word son. He stared at Matt, stunned. Never in his life had he expected to hear Matt call him that, not with such warmth. Jacqueline smiled proudly. The others nodded. But Jackie couldn't tear his eyes away from Matt. A rush of guilt swept through him for all the anger and blame he had once carried against the man who had tried, in his own way, to fill the void of his childhood. Later, as the mood lightened, Jacqueline clapped her hands together excitedly. "So, let's do it the Indian way first, and then we'll have our ceremony in church too." No, we should have the church ceremony first," Sudha suggested quickly. "But why not Indian style first?" Lalit frowned, confused. Sudha rolled her eyes with a smile. "Don't you get it? At the church ceremony they exchange rings. It's like an engagement for us too. After that we can have our big fat Indian wedding. And you know how much preparation that will need?" she explained animatedly. "Well, Mrs. Verma has a point," Matt said thoughtfully. "They can exchange rings first and then we'll celebrate with the Indian ceremonies." "Final then," Lalit declared happily. "I'll call our pundit tomorrow. He'll find an auspicious date." "Pandit? Who's that?" Jacqueline asked, frowning. It's priest, Mrs. Jones," Lavanya's father explained kindly. "He performs all the holy rituals at temples and homes. He'll match their moon signs and find a good date to begin the Hindu wedding ceremonies." While the elders were busy planning and discussing, a completely different conversation was taking place, silent, secret, and very much alive between Jackie and Lavanya. Jackie couldn't stop teasing her with playful glances, winks, and exaggerated expressions, all silently asking her for kisses. Lavanya, already blushing fiercely, kept shaking her head no, trying hard not to laugh or melt under his gaze. Jackie wiggled his brows dramatically, pushing her to blush even harder. Lavanya quickly dropped her gaze to the floor, her cheeks now as red as a ripe tomato. Suddenly, Matt's eyes fell on Lavanya. He frowned, puzzled by her deep crimson face. Lalit, noticing Matt's curious expression, glanced at his daughter too. The two men exchanged a look. Something was definitely going on. When Lavanya dared to look up at Jackie again, both Matt and Lalit instinctively followed her gaze, only to catch Jackie, at that exact moment, winking and blowing an exaggerated kiss towards her, his lips puckered dramatically. Matt smirked, while Lalit winced and coughed loudly. Catching everyone's attention, both men awkwardly cleared their throats, trying to act casual. Lavanya and Jackie immediately sat up straight, snapping back into the real world from their silent teasing. "Are you okay, Mr. Verma?" Jacqueline asked, concerned. Yeah, of course, just a little bit of, choking. I'll go get a ginger candy," he replied quickly and excused himself, disappearing toward the kitchen. Matt was barely able to hide his grin, pressing his fist against his mouth to cover it. He had very much realized why Lavanya's father had so suddenly choked. Sudha looked a bit suspicious, but decided to let it go when Jacqueline pulled her back into the wedding discussion. After wrapping up their plans, everyone sat down for lunch. Lavanya and her mother initially served the dishes, but on Jacqueline's sweet insistence, they too sat down and enjoyed the meal together. "My God, I'm so full," Jacqueline exclaimed, leaning back slightly. "I have never had such a delicious meal before. You all are absolute geniuses at cooking." "Absolutely," Matt agreed enthusiastically. "I'm amazed by how tasty everything was. Now I understand why Jackie's so hooked on Indian food." "Not just Indian cuisine," Jackie corrected with a grin. "Only homemade, authentic Indian cuisine." Both couples laughed heartily, the air lighter and warmer around them. Later that evening, What? Ah! Ruhi screamed at the top of her lungs as soon as she heard the news from Lavanya. Lavanya laughed, pressing the phone away from her ear to save herself from Ruhi's excited shrieks. Oh my god, oh my god, oh my god, I'm so happy for you, though, Ruhi added cheekily. I'm not happy for that American moron that he is happy, but yes, I'm insanely happy for you, she finished dramatically. Lavanya shook her head in disbelief, laughing. So, how are you feeling about it now? Ruhi asked eagerly. It was a wonderful day, Ruhi, Lavanya said, her voice softening into a smile. Of course it was. I'm crazily happy for you, Lavi, Ruhi cheered. I know, I can clearly hear that. Lavanya chuckled, her heart full. Thank you, Ruhi. Thank you for always being there, no matter what. Oh, shut up, that's my right, Ruhi snorted. I'll always be there like a chewing gum stuck in your hair. You can never get rid of me, got it? Lavanya laughed. Yeah, I know. And I don't mind that. Both girls chuckled warmly. Okay, now tell me everything, Ruhi demanded. How are his mother and stepfather? Adorable and genuine, Lavanya said, her voice filled with contentment. I'm really lucky to have them as my parents-in-law. Oh, parents-in-law, huh? Ruhi teased wickedly. Lavanya blushed immediately. I mean, she stammered. Ruhi didn't let up, constantly interrupting with playful, exaggerated noises. Shut up, Ruhi, Lavanya said, rolling her eyes but laughing too. Meanwhile, across the ocean. So, it's finally happening then. James grinned widely at his best friend during their video call. Yeah, it is. Jackie nodded, trying and failing to hide his wide grin. He shrugged casually. I'm damn happy for ya, James said genuinely. But, he trailed off, smirking. Yeah, right. I can see that, but coming from a mile away, Jackie said, narrowing his eyes. James chuckled. You know me too well, man. It would be stupid to think you could ever change, and I'm not stupid, Jackie teased, shaking his head. What can I say, man? I'm just a regular guy. Human. With natural instincts, James said dramatically. And bro, she's goddamn beautiful. You're one lucky bastard. Don't you dare, Jackie warned with a half-serious glare. She's my girl, my soon-to-be wife. Chill, man, I'm not eyeing your girl, James said, laughing. I'll come to India during your wedding, and there, I'm gonna find myself a beautiful Indian hottie. Though I'm not getting married like you, I'll definitely have a little fun. Sure, if you can, Jackie huffed, shaking his head. Gosh, I'm so excited to come to India now. Get married soon, man, James said, already daydreaming, completely ignoring his best friend's words. Hello, mister. Back to earth. Jackie snapped his fingers in front of the screen, trying to pull James out of his daydreams. James sighed dramatically and drooped his head like a wilting plant. By the way, Jackie said, switching to work mode, I'm emailing you the Indian sales charts. You still haven't forwarded me the England sales charts. Yeah, James grumbled. That's all that's left in my life: sales, reports, charts, presentations. Work, bitch, sorry, dog, he muttered under his breath. Drama king, Jackie commented dryly. Hurry up. Instantly, James sat upright like a soldier. Within 15 minutes, sir. He saluted dramatically. Good, see ya. Jackie gave a curt nod and ended the call. That night, after a hearty dinner with his family, Jackie slept more peacefully than he had in weeks. The next morning, as soon as Jackie walked into the D. Dawson building, congratulations started flying from every corner. Somehow the news had spread like wildfire. Oye ji, Mubarakan Sir ji, Balram bellowed from across the hall, his arms flung wide open. Jesus Christ. Jackie's eyes widened in horror. Before he could react, Balram barreled into him, hugging him tightly and shaking him from side to side like a rag doll. Jackie almost lost his balance. Well, ahem. Thank you, Balram, he said awkwardly, acutely aware of all the staff watching and giggling. Thanks. He nodded politely at everyone, still trapped in Balram's bear hug. Balram? Jackie struggled. Yes, sir, Ballroom said emotionally, refusing to let go. I know you're happy, Jackie said patiently, but if you could please release me, I can walk into my office and actually start working. Oh, of course, sir, Ballroom said, finally loosening his arms and stepping back proudly. I'm really happy for you, sir. Your late father would have been so proud today wherever he is, he said, wiping the tears gathering around his eyes. Jackie's heart melted within seconds. His voice softened. Yeah. Hey, are you okay? Oh yes, absolutely, sir. Just missing my great friend, Mr. Dave Dawson, Ballroom said, his voice trembling. Jackie took a small pause, then said quietly, I'm not missing him at all. You know why? Ballroom tilted his head innocently, silently asking why. Because you're here. On behalf of him. Jackie placed his right hand on Ballroom's shoulder. At that, Ballroom's face crumpled again. Tusito. Arula ditamainu, he cried, dramatically rushing towards the washroom, sniffling loudly. Jackie stood there, completely dumbfounded, looking around helplessly. Muttering under his breath, What did I even do? A while later, Jackie was seated at his desk, reviewing the charts James had finally emailed when his phone buzzed. Seeing Lavanya's name flash across the screen, he smiled instantly and answered. Hello, love, he greeted warmly. Blood rushed to Lavanya's cheeks. Hello, Mr. Dawson, she said shyly. Jackie, he whined playfully. Mr. Jackie Dawson, she corrected with a giggle. No, Mr. No Dawson. Jackie, sir? She tried, struggling to hold her laughter. I meant only Jackie, he said dramatically, pretending to be hurt. Lavanya bit her lip to stop herself from laughing outright. Only Jackie, sir, she giggled mischievously. Jackie huffed in mock annoyance. Forget it. Yes, my would-be Mrs. Only Jackie Dawson, he teased, making her laugh even more. Still smiling, Lavanya said, I'm going shopping with Mama. Daddy's gone to meet the priest. Jackie immediately sat up straighter, alert. What did he say? He's still there. I'll tell you once he's back, she reassured him. I hope everything goes well, and the holy date comes soon, he said, crossing his fingers in prayer. Don't worry, everything will be fine. We're not doing matchmaking or anything. He's just asking about the dates, she said soothingly. Yeah, but still, I'm kinda nervous. I've never, ever felt like this before. I don't even know what's happening to me, he admitted honestly. It's okay, she said gently. He'll come back with news for sure. May your words be true, he whispered. I love you so much. I love you much more than that, she whispered back loudly, her cheeks flushing. He chuckled, warmth filling his chest. I know. Meanwhile, back at Lavanya's home. What's it, Lalit? Is everything all right? Sudha asked anxiously as her husband entered the house, looking deeply emotional. Lavanya was standing nearby in the living room, watching her father closely. When he didn't answer immediately, Sudha's worry deepened. Lalit, why are you silent? Please tell me what happened. You're scaring me now. Daddy? Lavanya whispered, her voice trembling. Lalit finally turned his head to look at his daughter, his expression tender and emotional. Only 14 days left, he said, voice thick with emotion. Both Sudha and Lavanya frowned in confusion. 14 days? Sudha repeated. Yes. Lalit nodded, struggling to keep his voice steady. 14 days. To cherish all the memories we've made with her all these years. His eyes glistened with unshed tears as he glanced at his wife and daughter. Lavanya's eyelashes fluttered. Her lips trembled and her eyes grew glossy. She understood immediately what he meant. In just 2 weeks, she would leave her parents' home. Sudha stared at her only daughter, heart twisting. You mean, after 2 weeks she'll be leaving this house? She said brokenly. Hearing it out loud, Lavanya couldn't hold back. Tears poured down her cheeks as she burst out crying like a little girl being sent away from her mother for the first time. Both her parents rushed forward, wrapping her tightly in their arms. It was the most emotional, bittersweet hug of their lives, a moment filled with pride, happiness, and aching sadness. After receiving the dates, Jackie and his family were overjoyed. They immediately informed friends and relatives, requesting them to save the date for the big day. That night, Jackie, impatient and restless, video called Lavanya, but she didn't answer. Her phone was on vibrate, lying forgotten on the bed while she was in the washroom. Not giving up, he called again and again. When Lavanya finally came out, she noticed the screen lighting up with his call. Drying her hands quickly, she tossed the towel onto a chair, grabbed her phone, and sat on her bed to answer. Before she could even say hello, Jackie spoke up, sounding annoyed yet worried. "Where were you? I've been calling for the past 15 minutes. "I was in the shower," she said, shrugging, "shampooing my hair." He noticed her wet hair immediately, the little water droplets trickling down her neck, and his mood shifted completely, from irritation to a very different kind of mood. "Oh," he breathed out, a mischievous smile curling on his lips. His voice dropped slightly, playful and low. "So, you and me," he began, pausing dramatically. Lavanya leaned closer to the screen, waiting eagerly. "Me and you," he continued, teasingly drawing it out. "What?" she asked, a soft hidden smile already playing in her eyes. "Are going to share the same roof after 14 days, he finally completed, his voice tender. Lavanya slowly lowered her eyes, shy beyond words. Jackie added, his voice dipping into a husky whisper, "Not only the roof, but also the same room, the same bed." She blushed deeply, and still avoiding his gaze, asked in a small voice, And, he whispered, drawing out the suspense. And, her voice was so soft it was barely audible. And, even the same shower, he smirked wickedly. Her head jerked up in shock. "Whoa, what?" "Yeah," he said, his eyes gleaming mischievously, fully embracing his romantic mood. No way. Don't share the shower with anyone," she stammered, shaking her head vigorously. "I never have." "Really? I do that all the time," Jackie replied with a dramatic shrug. "I love bathing with my colleagues and staff. Even James enjoys it when I squeeze shower gel at him." Lavanya stared at him, utterly confused, until she finally realized he was being sarcastic. Her cheeks burned in embarrassment. "I didn't mean it like that. I'm not comfortable with someone watching me bathing," she tried to explain, flustered. "Neither am I," he said with a teasing pause before adding with a grin. "But I wouldn't mind you watching me. That way, I'd get a chance to see you too." He winked playfully. Lavanya winced and blinked rapidly, completely at a loss for words, which only made Jackie burst into laughter. "Look at you, Miss Indian Verma. Your nose, your cheeks, everything's gone red. Did you just imagine it?" he teased. Her jaw dropped open in disbelief. "No, not at all." "You naughty, dirty mind," he taunted, grinning broadly. Lavanya fumbled, desperately trying to steer the conversation away. It's late, we should go to bed now," she suggested quickly, trying to regain some dignity. Jackie leaned back, mischief still in his eyes. "Which one? Yours or mine?" "To the respective ones," she said firmly. "You to yours and me to mine." He chuckled, shaking his head fondly. "Ah, my adorable Indian girl, you're too cute." Lavanya furrowed her brows and huffed. "And you are just unbelievable. You never miss a single opportunity to tease me." "Sorry, love," he said with a soft laugh. "I was just messing around. By the way, are you coming to the office tomorrow?" Trying to look professional, Lavanya clasped her hands together, tilting her head cutely. "Sir, since I'm getting married in 14 days, may I excuse myself from work for these days? I need to go shopping with my mother." Jackie immediately fell into his formal tone, playing along. "Oh, Miss Verma, congratulations! I am truly happy to hear the good news. However, D. Dawson is currently very busy, and your presence is essential since you report directly to the CEO. For such a significant event, I will try to grant your leave, but before approving it, I must discuss it with my assistant. I will inform you of my decision tomorrow. Is that acceptable, Miss Lavanya Verma? She fought back a laugh and replied just as formally, Of course, sir. Thank you so much for your consideration, sir. I truly appreciate it. They both held their serious expressions for a moment before bursting into laughter together. The days passed quickly. Jackie buried himself in work while Jacqueline and Matt flew back to California to oversee wedding preparations from their side. Meanwhile, in India, Lavanya and her family were neck-deep in shopping, outfit fittings, and a flurry of arrangements. Despite the chaos surrounding them, Jackie and Lavanya never missed a chance to see each other or sneak in late-night calls filled with laughter, stolen glances, and whispered dreams of their life ahead. Just a few days before the wedding, Ruhi also took leave from work, while Virat received a formal memo from Balram regarding his repeated absences. Though it was a strictly professional matter, Virat was convinced it had been deliberately sent under Jackie's influence. He, too, had heard about Jackie and Lavanya's wedding through colleagues and friends. However, when Balram personally called and explained the situation in the advertising department, Virat realized the gravity of things. Balram clearly stated that if Virat didn't resume work immediately, he would have no choice but to appoint someone else to the position, a decision that alarmed Virat enough to return to the office without further delay. 3 days before the wedding, Jackie's close friends, including James, along with his mother, Jacqueline, and stepfather, Matt, arrived in India. The media had already begun gathering outside the D. Dawson building, eager to catch a glimpse of the preparations for the grand wedding. On Lavanya's side, relatives, close friends, and well-wishers had also started arriving, showering her with blessings and excitement. All the preparations were handled by top professionals. The decoration, catering, the outfits, everything was being meticulously arranged, befitting a wedding where Jackie Dawson was the groom. Meanwhile, James began planning a bachelor party for Jackie, and this news quickly reached Lavanya and Ruhi. At Lavanya's house, "Bachelor party?" Ruhi exclaimed, hands on her hips, glaring fiercely. "We are not going to let anything happen at that party, I promise you," she declared, noticing her best friend's growing anxiety.